Go.
We'll start with the forward bend, and you'll do 10 repetitions. You bend the knees, exhale when you go forward, and when you come up, you inhale, lift the chest, and then come all the way up. Okay, so that'll be for 10 repetitions. Forward bend. The torso will touch the thighs when you go forward. Bend your knees a lot. And that should be 10. Are you gonna hold on the bottom or no? Okay, next is gonna be the lateral stretch. So you turn in one foot, the other leg is wherever you wanna put it. You can put your hand on your knee, and then you can see for Avery, he's stretching first the right side, then the left side. This is very much a surf position. So very useful. The idea is that the hip moves away from the ribs to create space. And then we do our hold in the forward bend after we do the lateral stretch and before we do the famous standing one-legged stretch. Then Avery usually stays everything for about 10 breaths. Okay, here's the one-legged. There has to be excessive arch here, all the way through here. This hip stays away from the ribs, and then after 10 breaths, we're gonna bring the leg up. You can straighten that leg a little bit. So if the left leg's up, then that left hip will roll down, and the right hip moves away from the ribs on the right side. And you can drop this as much as you want, and after 10 breaths, you'll switch sides. So the involved side is this left hip, moves away from the ribs. There's still the arch here, and then this forward bend with the lateral. You can really take that left arm even further. You can take your right hand on top of it. There you go. And then you push this towards my finger. There you go. Okay, that's the one-legged, and then time to lay on your back. And we'll do a lateral, we'll continue this idea of one leg, and we'll use the strap. First, 2 legs, flexing the calves, or flexing up the ankle quite a bit. So use the strap to stretch this. And then the idea is you can be further away from your body, but you want to have your knees straight. And sometimes if you want, you can have a wall here. And if the left leg's up, the strap will eventually go into your right hand. Not ready for that yet. Sorry, Avery. 10 breaths, and then the side stretch here. So it's the same idea where this left hip is moving away from the rib cage. You're flexing in your ankle joint, the back of the knee, and it doesn't matter how close this is or how far down it is, you want the leg straight. Okay, and then side 2, the strap's here, a lot of flexion in the foot. And you'll be here for 10 breaths. And it can help to extend your breath, so you feel like you have this big long inhale and this big long exhale. Okay, so now it's the right hip moves away from the ribs here. Right, stay straight, and then over flexing the ankle. Use that strap to really pull that. Okay, so next will be the pure hip stretch. It incorporates a lunge and then also a direct stretch on the hip muscles, the gluteal muscles. Everyone's somewhat familiar with this. Maybe you can get lower so you can see what he's doing with his hip, with that leg. So this one, you want to take your time, get a lot out of it. It's 10 breaths per side, and also the idea is whichever, oh, and then a little variation of that. This is kind of the lunge position on the pure hip. Okay, I think we all know how that helps in surfing. Okay, and then the second side, oh, and a lateral bend with the lunge. Wow, that's pretty nifty. So this is tough. You can see how it really rotates that hip pelvic girdle back that way, and then that abdominal area is moving back too. That's going to pull that quad quite a bit. That's nice. Okay, side two. So we start with the pure hip, and it's warming up the other quad for some of the little tricky quad stretches we're going to do in a second. And then if you want to remind yourself you're breathing, certain smooth quality to that. And then this is a passive lunge. So from your pure hip to the passive lunge, let that hip joint drop back into that ball and socket area. So from the passive lunge to this lateral lunge, and this one is very valuable there. The belly button, abdominal area moves back towards the lower back, and the left ribs move as far away from the left hip area as possible. And then we're ready for a few seated stretches. First is the seated forward bend. Notice how much you might need to bend your knees to have your torso touching. So it's more important here to have your torso touching your legs than to have your legs straight. And after 2, 3, 4 breaths, you can maybe let your heels slide out just a little bit, reestablish your movement in your upper chest. Can you get a little bit of that hinge point in the low back? Notice how these forward bend stretches, it's very important to keep arching and arching that lower back. And then finally the classico, the butterfly stretch or a seated forward bend. Both arms go forward and have your heels away from your hips. Oftentimes individuals move their heels in towards their hips quite a bit. You want to have some space. Can you get a little on that? That's a wrap. Thank you.